Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I want to do a first impressions and demo with the new Natasha Denona tan palette. So of course I will link the palette down below as well as all of the other makeup that I end up applying, but let's go ahead and get into it. So this is the newest midi palette just launched by Natasha Denona. It retails for $72. I will link it down below. There's a bunch of different retailers. I do also have a coupon code if you want to purchase off of her website. You can save, I think it's 10%. So I will have that on the screen and down below. This was sent to me in PR, but I didn't think I was going to get it. So I actually purchased a palette for myself, but it's still not here. I have the worst shipping. It drives me absolutely insane. But on a side note, I'm really thankful to have received this in PR. I love Natasha Denona. I think the midi palettes are just the best bang for your buck. So this is described as a warm neutral palette with 14 new shades, one repeat, which is from the I Need a Nude palette. And it also has 5 different finishes. So we have the sparkling foiled, creamy matte, silky matte, metallic, and the wet effect. I did want to say that I have some irritation under my eyes and around my eyes because I've been having irritation, and I had seen in the comments one of you said to pluck the hairs that are like poking in my eye. I've been to a specialist and a couple eye doctors and they plucked a few, but they didn't say anything beyond that. But I did try that a couple weeks ago and it gave me relief, but I feel like they're growing back in and poking me on this eye. So if my eyes look irritated, that's why. I just plucked some more. It's a struggle, okay? But I wanna go ahead and zoom you in and let's start on an eye look. I'm gonna try to do something quite simple today because it's later in the day and I wanna get this video up, but let me just zoom you in a little bit closer. So I'm gonna start off with the shade Celeste and apply this to my lid. Just keeping it lower. I think that the Natasha midi palettes are the best value if you want to try her eyeshadows. And they're some of my most used formulas. Just super easy to blend and lots of different textures and different finishes depending on the palette as well. Next, I'm gonna jump into Glide. This one is one of the creamy mattes, and I'm gonna use a Nikki LaRose N13 and really load my brush up and then just kind of tap off. And I wanna just use this to give some definition around. I actually really like the creamy matte formula. I feel like it's really nice to build, and also it can be really nice to give you like a smoky look if you find that normal powders get choppy. So just a little bit of defining. I have to tell you guys that I have to go get a freaking root canal tomorrow and I'm literally so pissed. I have a really old cavity, like it was silver, that's how old it was, that had cracked. So I went to the dentist a few weeks ago and they, drilled it out and then redid the filling and everything went fine. But the dentist told me that there was a possibility of having to get a root canal because it was so close to the nerve. Like it was a deep cavity, but again, it was old, like probably from my early 20s. And sure enough, I have to get a root canal tomorrow and I'm not thrilled about it. And I have no dental insurance. So it's gonna cost me a good $4,000 to get this root canal. So I'm not thrilled and I'm just like, I think I'm just anxious about, I know I'm anxious about it and I'm just like frustrated that I even have to do it. I know it's first world problems, but. So next I'm gonna go into the darkest color. This is also one of those creamy matte shades. So just applying on the outer portion and then just pulling out. And I'm not worried if this is perfect off the bat because I'm gonna clean it up. I just want like a general shape as I completely make a mess on this side. This is like my eye that gives me issues. It's like a struggle to get them both in the same angle or at the same angle. I feel like this eye turns down more than the other. So I just like to use any kind of wipe or micellar water. And with a really small brush, I'm gonna take Daydream and I'm gonna use this to add a little bit of dimension to the outer portion of the eye. So kind of smoking it into the wing and then like kind of inward. And cleaning up is going to be the real key here. So if things are not like perfect off the bat, that's okay. I just want to blend inward. And because I don't want to lose all the warmth, I'm going to go back into Paddle and I want to use this to kind of soften around the edges and just blend this out more seamlessly. I always struggle out here. I am also going to get a little bit of soft spot, just like a tiny bit. And sort of pressing and then just flicking outward. And then going back into Celeste, I want to add more because we did lose some of the sparkle when we were blending. The one thing I am noticing is that a lot of the shimmers in here are not insanely light. So I think it's going to be perfect if you have like a medium tan, deep skin tone. If you feel like so many palettes are always just like way too light focused, which I mean, come on, that's probably the reality, then I think you may really like that this one offers more like mid-tone shimmers instead of everything just being ivory. I just wet my brush and I want to see if it makes any difference. I'm just using a brush to really get more precise. Definitely have some glitter fallout, but that's why I do my eyes first. And then I'm gonna clean up like so, just to make everything look crisp. So I think I'm gonna leave the top of the eyes there. I'm gonna go ahead and finish the rest of my makeup and then we will come back and do the lower lash line and see the final look, and I'll give you guys my initial first impressions. Y'all, okay, we have feral cats that we TNR'd. If you don't know what that means, it's like trap, neuter, release. It's a whole thing. I didn't understand it until we moved to the country and these cats like showed up on our porch starving. Anyways, so we have 3 that we take care of. I just heard Munchkin crying, which means she's in the house looking for Big Lou. They have this like codependency. It's a whole thing. And I'm just like sitting here and all of a sudden I'm just hearing like meow and I'm like, oh my gosh. Okay. Can I tell you that these cats are doggy door trained? I'm not joking you. They are doggy door trained feral cats. It's a doggy door trained feline in action. Let's see. Is Tweedledee, yep, there she comes, Tweedledee, oh, there she comes, haha. Feline number 2, my angel. That's what's happening at my house here. So let me go ahead and go in with this same shade. I'm gonna use this on my inner corner. It is honestly like a zoo at my house. I wouldn't have it any other way, but I do feel like literally surrounded by animals 90% of the time. Okay, so I just added that there. Okay, that's really pretty. And then I'm gonna go back into the palette and I'm gonna use maybe this soft spot, and I'm just gonna use a fluffier brush. I usually leave my under eyes blank, but I'm gonna just smoke this. I wanna try to use more shadows if I can, but I also just prefer a lighter look on myself, and my eyes can get quite irritated with a lot of liner and stuff, so I tend to avoid it. I'm gonna take a little bit of Daydream and I'm gonna take this closer to my lash line because I want to tie in some of that more neutral, like leaning cool. So applying just a little bit and then I can go back in and soften. And I want it to not connect, but, you know, line up with this wing in some capacity. I'm also gonna take a little bit of paddle just to further smoke out, like very slightly. And then I'm taking more soft spot because I like the tone of that one, really pretty. To tightline, I'm gonna use this new shade from Sarah Creel. This is the Everyday Matte Bronze. These are really nice for the waterline. And then for the lower waterline, I'm gonna use this Makeup Forever in, what color is this? Boundless Beige. Focusing more on this, like the outer portion, leaving it as so. I don't want it to be too intense. I think I'm gonna leave it there, and I will be back with, you know, everything done, and we will go over my first impression and what I think about this palette. All right, guys, so here's my finished look using the new Natasha Denona Tan palette. So my initial first impression is everything blended beautifully. I had no issues. I love her palette, so I'm not surprised. A couple notes are that I don't think there is a lot of lighter shimmers in this palette, and I did touch on that briefly. The one that I used today, definitely a go-to. And then you do have a metallic, but it's not quite as intense. And then you have these other really, really stunning shimmery shades, but they do run a little bit richer or deeper if you are like me and you like to have something like lighter on the lid. So I think this is really gonna shine for those smoky, sultry looks, very sexy looks. And I also think it's going to shine for those of you that have like medium, tan, and deeper complexions, because these are gonna pop on your skin tone and look incredible. I didn't use this one right here in the middle. It looks really pretty, but it actually swatched a little bit dry, almost like a dry glitter, and that wasn't my favorite. Just looking at the palette, I thought that was gonna be, you know, the one I was gonna go into, but it has like a really dry feel, and you can see that it has glitter, but I don't know, it's not a formula that I personally like just upon touching it. I feel like it's just too dry, but this palette overall just gives that sexy vibe. There's just something really like sultry about this palette, kind of like that grungy, just blown out, really smoky eye look. So I think a lot of people are really going to love this. For everyday looks, I would be dipping into these three shades, this shade, and again, using one of the lighter tones on my lid, but I'm somebody that loves mattes without having a shimmer most days, so that doesn't bother me at all because there's still a ton of mattes to choose from. So overall, I think this is a beautiful palette. When people say, do I need this or do I need that? Nobody needs any makeup, so nobody needs to go and buy anything, but if you like the color story, if you like Natasha Denona, and you really want to purchase something that is going to be well loved, I think you would really love this palette. I'm a huge neutrals girl, and again, I really love her formula, so I'm very happy to have this. I think the undertones are quite special, and I think this look is really pretty, even though it's very, you know, basic. Honestly, it was very easy to do. So let me know what you think about this palette. Have you picked it up? Are you going to? And what do you think about the look that I came up with? Of course, I will link this down below, as well as every retailer you can get it at, including my code. So if you want to order off her website, you can save some money. And then I will link everything else that I applied today, so you know what makeup I'm wearing. But if you did find this video helpful and you did enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you're new here, I hope you stick around and subscribe. As always, thank you guys again so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.